Hi folks, my name is Crunchy Tacos Shelby and I am here to discuss with you my thoughts on Monstropolis possibly being in Kingdom Hearts 4. So I got this idea while playing Kingdom Hearts 3 and just watching the cutscenes in the Monstropolis world and kind of just sent my little brain down this crazy trail of thoughts and stuff. So I'm going to try to map it out in order of kind of how it came to my mind to make what this final result is at the end of this video. So let's dive into it. So we know with Monsters Inc. and Monsters University that the doors connect the human world to the monster world. And with that being said, we saw in Kingdom Hearts 3 Vanitas being in the human world, meeting up with Randall, fixing his door, and fixing that portal basically between these worlds. And with Vanitas having that ability, I can kind of see him potentially being an important factor in Kingdom Hearts 4. Part of me also wants a Vanitas redemption arc, and so this will kind of go into that a little bit. But I can kind of see him possibly using the Nameless Star and the portal that Riku had created at the end of Melody of Memory to kind of rebuild a connection of sorts between unreality and reality. If he can do it in the monster world, between monster world and the human world, why couldn't he do it between Quadratum and the realm of light? I don't know, just a thought. But this whole thing is based on the idea that Vanitas could possibly do that, so we're just going to assume and roll with it. It is just playing around. Nothing's set in stone anyway. We're just trying to figure this out and have fun while nothing's going on. Anywho, so let's say that Vanitas can create a portal of sorts between unreality and reality. So he would have to do that by separating himself of Ventus's heart, because he loses the battle of heart and birth by sleep with him and basically gets like absorbed back into his heart. The Vanitas we fight and play around with in Kingdom Hearts 3 is more of like a replica type of thing. So we would have to find a way for Ventus to give up this part of Vanitas and not die, I guess. But Sora's done some pretty crazy things with hearts before, and especially with Ventus's heart, so who's to say it wouldn't be possible for Sora to fix Ventus's heart again? So with that being said, I think Vanitas could possibly work on bringing Sora to the realm of light and have to convince Ventus to basically sacrifice himself to save Sora, knowing he may not make it or not. And I think, they would have another battle of the heart, because Ventus isn't going to want to die and let Vanitas, who he knows is a darkness, out into the free world. But let's say Vanitas wins, and so Vanitas wins the heart, right? And he's looking at Ven, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to let you make the choice. And because of this, maybe Ventus decides, sure, let's trust Vanitas. Let's do this. What else do we have to lose at this point? And I'm sure the others protest, but it doesn't matter. Ventus's mind's made up. So knowing this plan, Sora, let's say, when he's transported back into the realm of light, could be brought back into any point in time or world within the realm of light. And this kind of would begin this sort of world line, timeline hopping that we see kind of questionably happening in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and the KH4 trailer. But I think once Vanitas and Ventus kind of like separate, Vanitas would build that connection through the Nameless Star and then go to Quadratum to find Sora. And this could even be like a Vanitas playable section. Who even knows? You gotta be Vanitas running around Quadratum looking for Sora. But eventually Sora and Vanitas would unite and everything will get explained. And then Sora can arrive anytime, anywhere, and he must find a way to the present Radiant Garden where Ventus happens to be. So Sora takes this path that Vanitas ends up destroying so that nobody can come in and out as they please. He doesn't want no one chasing Sora or no, unwanted people coming here either. And so now Vanitas can go and do his own thing. I think he's going to go look for the Masters of Masters since he is a darkness and they kind of don't like each other. So with that being said, just kind of some crazy thoughts about what could possibly happen there. But for Monsters Inc. to be back in the Kingdom Hearts world in Kingdom Hearts 4, I think it would be best to set it up as like a Monsters University world instead of a Monsters Inc. world. So we'll kind of be going back in time to when Mike and Sully were younger, when they were in college, before they were working on the scare floor. So, with that being said, I guess there's spoilers here for Monsters University if you haven't seen it. So, if there is a Monsters University world, and if what I'm saying about Vanitas possibly creating a portal between unreality and reality is true, then this is how I think the world could go for Monsters University in Kingdom Hearts 4. So it would begin, Sora kind of just walks up onto Monsters University and realizes where he is once he sees Mike Wazowski jump out of the bus for his first day at college. And Sora would come up to talk to him. Obviously, Mike wouldn't know who he is because they haven't met in this timeline. Which brings up another point. This could impact the events of the future, seeing as they did meet when Mike was much older. But that is kind of a lot to get into right now. But the point is, the longer that Sora exists in the time of the Monsters University, before he actually meets Mike and Sully in Kingdom Hearts 3, the more likely there are to be paradoxes that occur and can disrupt the fabric of time even more. So it's imperative that Sora's found and brought back to the present as soon as possible. But basically, Sora would tag along with Mike throughout pretty much the entirety of the movie. It would follow the movie plot because I think it's just easy enough here. Each of the scare games could be their own little mini game or mission. There could be exploration around the university. We could bring in the enemies, like some Unversed maybe, because, you know, Sora did use the power of darkness and Vanitas' darkness to get here, so maybe it's kind of like, I don't know, stuck to him like an aura type of thing, so it draws the Unversed near him. I don't know, just a thought. So that could be a way to provide enemies to fight during exploration periods. And then Sora, for the most part, just kind of goes with the flow, but he continues to look for clues for his friends, and looking for a way to Radiant Garden. At the end of the world, after all the scare games are done, Mike goes through this door at the door lab, and Sully ends up confessing that he cheated in the games. And I think after this point, Sully would come and find Sora, and they would go follow Mike through this door into the cabin. They realize Mike is missing and that there's human police outside. It's dark, but they can't see each other. And they escape the cabin and run away, where they end up running into Mike by the lake. Sora, though, he appears human, not monster-like as in KH3 and how he would have been with Donald's magic, you know, that kind of retroactively stuck to him when he first came in the monster world, in the monster side of the monster world, not the human side. But anyway, I think Mike and Sully would be confused, but they're just kind of like, what the heck, we're in this crazy situation, let's roll with it. And they come up with pretty much the same plan as the movie. And I think a good thing here could be like a little stealth mission to kind of sneak around the camp to find all these things that they need to create the big scare. But I think during the events of the big scare, Sora doesn't escape with Mike and Sully back into the monster world, and is actually just left out here in the human world to figure himself out. But he has to escape this camp. There's nothing but a bunch of cops around here. So I think the monster world ends with Sully and Mike going back to the monster world, Sora ending up in the human world, and running away from the scene of the crime. So, another thought that I had about this was regarding time. And I know time in the Kingdom Hearts universe is like this big, confusing, crazy thing, and I don't really think it is. We just have to look at it world by world and go based off of that. But time in the human/monster world passes at the same rate of speed, and this is evident in both Monsters movies. So Monsters University takes place roughly 10 to 13 years before the events of Monsters, Inc. The events of Kingdom Hearts 3 take place after Monsters, Inc., but while Boo is still young. So she didn't grow up, so it couldn't have been more than a year or two since, probably not even 2 years. If you have a little toddler, you know how fast they grow, but like, probably not even a year after that. Anyway, so we can conclude based off of that Sora would have arrived in the realm of light roughly 13 years in the past. So roughly the time of birth by sleep. If we're sitting here, the present is the end of Kingdom Hearts 2, Remind and all that stuff, Melody and Memory. And so, anywho, with all of that being said, I think the Monsters University world would be a great segue into Sora, being in a human world of sorts, along with the Quadratum stuff. But once he gets into the realm of light, this could get us into those live action worlds or other human worlds. It's an easy way to incorporate any number of applicable Disney properties, or Marvel, or Lucasfilms. So I know I kind of just jibber-jabbered at you guys, but this is just like a crazy thought that I had that kind of turned into what you're watching / listening to now. And I could have keep going with this and saying other kinds of crazy things, but it would have all just been off the wall and not worth anyone's time. But if you really want to hear me jibber-jabber about my crazy Kingdom Hearts thoughts some more, just let me know and I'll keep going. But for now, that's all I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed this crazy escapade down the rabbit hole of my brain. As always, have a great time. May your heart be your guiding key.